a lot harder than that.
It's working.
Nobody has done it.
All right. So I got my GoPro going, doing a video here really just to test it out. So it looks like it's testing and working just great. Really not sure if I didn't have a topic right now. So maybe while I'm rolling with it. I mean, I've done a video on it before, and it's really this idea around, you know, action and making things come to life and just doing things. And, you know, again, I was in a week full of experiences where, you know, I'm talking to people about the things they want to do, and like they're talking to me about the things they want to do, but they're talking about all these ideas they have and all these ideas they've written down, and so I really have learned a little bit through being part of EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization. There's this idea called the Gestalt Mindset, which is giving advice through story sharing as opposed to like, you should do this type of stuff. So I've been sharing my experience about how, like, when I've got a lot of ideas that I want to get done, or if there's a big project I want to get done, I really look at, okay, how am I going to break this out into one step? So, for example, even doing these video series, or these videos in the series of I'm in a Car, my goal is to do 100 of them. And it would have been really easy for me to get stuck in the planning process and figuring out all the different, you know, pieces of equipment I needed and all of the, you know, topics that I was going to do for the 100 videos, and then, you know, kind of start plowing through them once I've got it all figured out. But instead, I just use my phone as in a dash cam, and I mean, it's a little shaky, but I'm getting the videos done, and they're starting to get some traction. And I really think that that's a great little, you know, microcosm or analogy of the idea of getting it going. And, you know, I met this really cool young gentleman who's doing podcasts, and he said, you know, he took a year of like planning and learning about interviewing and getting all the audio equipment set up so that he could start doing it. And, you know, in hindsight, he said, you know, if I had just started a year ago, I would have been so much farther ahead, because he realized that as much as the equipment is like great and has helped him create some good podcasts, the experience of interviewing and getting people going on a microphone and doing the interviews is actually way more valuable for him. And it's this kind of constant theme of, you know, a year's worth of planning, or one day of doing, it will probably teach you more than a year's worth of planning. Another time I met with a friend client, and they were telling me all about the sales process that they've drawn up and written out all these scripts, and they've done all this sales process planning, which is really good. And again, by no means am I saying that there's you know, shortcomings to planning. All I'm saying is that sometimes, you know, even myself included, I get too, well, actually not really. I just do shit and mess up and learn. But I know a lot of people that really bog themselves down in planning. And so he had all this stuff laid out. It's like this, you know, 30-page document, and it's really good, so you can train everybody. And I said, that's great. Like, how many people have you called and used these scripts with to like help you understand this is the way to go? And he's like, nobody. He's like, but I wanted to make sure I had it all before I started calling. And I just think that's crazy, because, you know, you could put 20 hours worth of work into a script and talk track and sales process that once you hit the ground is meaningless. So why don't we just take a step back and really just get out there and have some conversations with people, you know, ask them what they're interested in, figure out what they want to do, figure out what they want to pay for, and then, you know, do that go over and over and over again, and then maybe we'll get some insight on what our sales process should look like. So again, I mean, I'm just kind of winging it and going with it, but I still think it's a really good kind of reminder for everybody that action speaks louder than words, and action speaks louder than planning. There's always there's always a place for planning, but it's not out of the gate, and you'll always, I always have learned more in one day of doing than 365 days of planning. So anyway, I hope it inspires you a little bit to just start getting out there and doing your thing, because I know a lot of times planning is a lot easier to do, and procrastination is kind of natural when we're getting ourselves ready to do something that scares us a little bit, especially when it comes to a new idea and facing rejection. Jack Ma, you know, the founder of Alibaba, has a really cool video about how he had been rejected over 30 times, you know, from KFC, from Harvard, from, you know, he failed tests in primary school and in middle school, and he failed his whole life, but he always looked inside and said, okay, what can I do differently? How can I improve myself? And never got discouraged. And he's, you know, it's a great little piece. So if you ever are interested, just check, Google Jack Ma failure video. It's awesome. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you get out there and start doing stuff, because, you know, you're going to learn a lot more from doing than you are from planning. So peace. Have a great weekend. See ya. Thanks, guys.